Some difficult decisions were made by the organization today.
And I mean, that's a player thing here, but I think right now in the best situation is what we're attempting to do here now is create the best environment moving forward, not only for the players.
So Cleveland Brown owners admits he didn't want Shedeur Sanders. He just admitted it yesterday.
At Brown's training camp, it was meant to be just another day. Rookies are working hard for a chance, while coaches and headsets silently pull the strings. But a storm was building underneath the surface, one that would put a rookie quarterback in the national spotlight, rock the NFL, and reveal a scandal. We're delving deeply into the shocking tale that stunned the Cleveland Browns today. Andrew Barry, their general manager, was fired following a startling sabotage campaign against rookie sensation Shedeur Sanders. Football isn't the only topic here. It's about politics, power, and the moment a hidden star made a whole organization confront reality. Hold on tight. The NFL attempted to hide this story. There were high hopes when Shedeur Sanders arrived at Browns camp. He wasn't your average rookie. He was a collegiate football star who was renowned for his leadership, mental tenacity, and laser accuracy. There was a stir among the fans. The analysts were observing. However, there was a problem at the Browns site from the start. Shedeur Sanders remained on the sidelines while other quarterbacks, Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, had prime reps with the starting lineup. There will be number 11 on 11 drills or starter snaps. He was instead placed in developing phases, which are typically saved for athletes the staff doesn't think will stick around. Even worse was the fact that he wasn't throwing to actual receivers. Team assistants, practice squad members, and even defensive backs who cover for wideouts. A quarterback who had recently dominated college football was aiming for these. Pickett was running refined routes with celebrities like Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper in the meantime. The reason a top prospect was being treated like an afterthought became apparent to fans. Was there something more nefarious going on here, or was this merely a gradual ramp-up? The Browns' PR machine went into overdrive as the number of queries increased. Stats suddenly began to seep out. In drills, Shedeur Sanders performs 3 out of 8. A struggling rookie who couldn't keep up with the veterans was depicted in the headlines. What they didn't tell you, though, is this. Those exercises weren't actual repetitions. There was little opportunity to develop rhythm because they were broken plays with third-string receivers. Shedeur wasn't given an equal opportunity. They were preparing him to fail. Whispers from behind closed doors became louder. Was Shedeur being purposefully held back by someone in the Browns? Was control at issue here, or was it football? Then everything was different. It was intended to be a scrimmage or closed door event. It was simply another day at the Browns facility, with no cameras or journalists. However, Shedeur Sanders was given a unique chance that day. A few pictures with the offense, he didn't simply appear. He blew up. One perfect 2-minute drill that resulted in a walk-off score, 12 snaps, and 3 touchdowns. Shedeur, according to insiders, cut up the defense with surgical accuracy, hitting tight end Harrison Bryant with a 27-yard laser, and a strike to Amari Cooper on the sidelines that had coaches mutter, "This kid is the real deal." VIP onlookers were shaking their heads when the presumed starter, Kenny Pickett, collapsed and threw a vicious red zone interception. Hours later, though, the true shock arrived. The last touchdown had been captured on camera by someone inside the building. A 23-second piece of footage appeared online at 2:13 a.m. There's only uncut video of Shedeur dropping back, reading the defense, and making the ideal touchdown pass, no official tags or watermarks. The video had received over 12 million views by midday. Fans were incensed when Free Shedeur became popular in Cleveland and later around the country. Not only was the throw exceptional, but it also validated everyone's fears. Shedeur was being concealed. Not a single highlight from that scrimmage had been made public by the Browns. There was not even a suggestion that Shedeur had outperformed everyone on the field in the practice reports. The evidence was now indisputable. The facility was in a state of turmoil. Coaches fumbled, peer into a state of lockdown. The video, which was purportedly taken by a staff member, revealed a quarterback dispute that the Browns had attempted to hide. However, the leaks continued. An internet text exchange purportedly involving GM Andrew Berry and a Brown employee was discovered. The messages were well considered and not ambiguous. The instruction was unambiguous. Impede her visibility. No viral highlights, no mic'd up sessions, and no first-team media clips. It made little difference if the passages were entirely authentic or not. The harm was already done. The public's trust was destroyed. Supporters didn't see a squad training a rookie quarterback. They witnessed a cover-up right in front of them. Internal sabotage, leaked emails, and the smoking gun. A shocking report was released just when it looked like things couldn't get much worse. Internal communications were allegedly leaked by a disgruntled minority owner. The correspondence revealed Barry's directive limit, which sheaths momentum. No red zone sequences, no high-pressure drills, and no opportunity to outperform the veterans. Even if only half of it was accurate, it presented a harsh image of a front office that aggressively manipulated the competition in addition to mishandling a rookie. It was more than simply football. This has to do with politics, power, and maintaining the status quo. The story is being twisted by the media war. The media attempted to present an alternative narrative as the crisis deepened. Her performance was minimized in the headlines. Sanders struggles with timing and goes 3 for 8 in team drills, but the context was omitted. Those numbers were derived from broken reps rather than complete team sequences or actual receivers. Kenny Pickett's subpar performance, however, miraculously disappeared from the news. Then internal practice grade sheets, another leak, surfaced. During camp sessions, Shedeur recorded a +4 EPA anticipated points. Pickett received a poor 6 EPA. One was in charge of effective drives. The other was using turnovers to finish them. Insiders claim that these figures were purposefully kept out of public campaign reports. Barry was also charged with providing biased statistics to obliging reporters, portraying Shedeur as erratic and ignoring perceptions. This reporting wasn't only skewed. It was systematic exile, freezing, the depth chart, and information warfare. It was clear that something was amiss at this point. However, it became evident when insiders disclosed the extent of the sabotage. Shedeur Sanders didn't get any first-team reps on July 20th or 21st. Not even an 11-on-11 snap or a rep with the starting offensive line. Pickett and Gabriel received clear pockets, timing routes, and complete sequences, while he was thrust into developmental periods, which are typically reserved for rookies being assessed for practice squad assignments. Shedeur was using peripheral defenders and backup assistants as wideouts. Sanders was seen in a fan-captured video on July 22nd completing a ball to a defensive back, filling in at receiver, while Pickett executed the same play with Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper. This was exile, not development. The freezing of the depth chart followed. Shedeur was locked at QB4, unable to call protections or take part in 2-minute drills, according to leaked internal logs. He wasn't only sitting there. He was eliminated from the competition in a methodical manner. Coaches and players voiced their opinions at the tipping point. Marcus Willoughby, a former Brown scout, put it best. It has nothing to do with competence. It was terror. They were aware that the media darling would be exposed if he had a genuine chance. The front office of the Browns believed they could control the media, bury the tape, spin the story, and contain it. However, the owners became involved once that viral video gained popularity. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, had previously expressed his displeasure in private. As early as July 21st, he reportedly informed team owner Jimmy Haslam that the representatives weren't being allocated equitably. Instead of letting politics drag out the quarterback decision, he wanted it decided sooner. But there was no turning back once that 23-second touchdown tape appeared. The facility's internal pressure reached a boiling point. Players began to voice their opinions, stating that Shedeur had performed noticeably better than Pickett. The criticism from fans was getting worse every hour. The consequences of GM's firing, a new age starts. Then the tipping point arrived, an emergency vote. Team insiders claimed that late on July 25th, ownership convened a private meeting. As a result, GM Andrew Berry was fired immediately by a 4-1 vote. No damage control, no warning. Before the fourth day of camp had begun, he was allegedly instructed to pack his office. It was an obvious message. No more favoritism. The future appeared bright once again for the first time in weeks, but the wounds from the sabotage were still very much there. It initially appeared to be paranoia. Supporters were referred to as deluded. Reporters dismissed it, but now there was no denying the sabotage. The Browns attempted to bury Shedeur Sanders, not just undervalue him. Number, exposure, no chance, no representatives. During red zone drills, a struggling veteran quarterback was being hyped up while throwing picks. Shedeur lit up the field, embarrassed the depth chart, and made the organization face the unpleasant reality. When he finally got a glimpse of opportunity, they were shielding the wrong person, the whole view. How many more tailies like this are there? This was more than simply poor coaching, as evidenced by leaked communications, fabricated stat narratives, and warped depth charts. It was a poorly executed, controlled story. Ultimately, it cost a general manager his job. Here's the more important query, though. How many more young athletes are being kept quiet in the background? Before fans ever get to see the field, how many shady Sanders stories are buried? Because the true tale is only getting started, even though this chapter may conclude with a GM being sacked, there are broken chains. What will happen to Shedeur Sanders next? The NFL may be about to experience something they were never ready for now that Shedeur has broken free from the chains. Once shrouded in shadows, a rookie quarterback is suddenly tearing up the NFL. The front office of the Browns attempted to steer the conversation. They made an effort to conceal the truth. However, it was ultimately impossible to silence talent. The spin was exposed by the fans. The athletes raised their voices. Additionally, the group had to confront reality. Shedeur Sanders is more than simply a new player. He represents every player who has ever gone unnoticed, every gifted athlete who has ever had their abilities overshadowed by politics, and every supporter who has ever questioned what goes on behind closed doors. Every team in the league should take note of the Browns' sabotage controversy. Greatness cannot be concealed indefinitely. One thing is evident as the world watches Cleveland as the dust settles and Shedeur Sanders takes the field. The NFL won't be the same again. If you like this in-depth analysis, please hit the like button, subscribe for more thrilling NFL news, and leave a comment below. Do you believe Sanders will emerge as the next big thing in the NFL? Or is this simply the start of something much more significant?